Dan, the podcast studio owner man. So, Adam, thanks for coming. I'm glad to have you here today. We did this once before.
Yeah, the setting's a lot nicer.
It's a little bit different these days. It's not just in the middle of an office.
It's good. It's good.
We've got the full studio up and running, and I'm excited to talk to you just about like your perspective on business, your perspective on networking and community building, because that's where I feel your expertise really lies, and I'm sure you'd say the same. And a lot of people struggle with it and don't necessarily know how to network correctly or effectively. And having a strategy on the networking front is something that you helped me to realize that I needed, and I'm sure many others out there would say the same. And so that's what I would love to have here is for you to help anyone who's watching to maybe help formulate that or learn from you to be able to have a starting point for themselves. That's my goal of this. And then obviously we'll talk about all the amazing things that you have going on, which when people know how to network will certainly help them to do that at a higher level and with great people.
There's a great quote. I don't know who said it. I can Google it, but you don't know what you want until you know what you don't want. And I think it takes a lot of time to figure out what you do want and to have some clarity behind that. You know, if you have a clear end in mind of what it looks like, and you can build out the steps to get there. And that's really how I got even into networking, was just I didn't really like the energy or the vibe or what it was. You know, it kind of just, it exists. You know, it's a double-edged sword or a necessary evil. And I would always say, you know, you should do business in the way you want to do business, whether it's, you know, through golf and pickleball, or if it's through happy hours, or if it's through trying new restaurants, or if it's through, you know, going to different coffee houses and meeting with people. But you should do things in a way that you want to do them, a way that makes you happy and doesn't feel like that double-edged sword. So it's funny, if you change one of the letters in networking, you change the N-E-T to N-O-T, it comes out to not working. And a lot of the conversations I have with people, you know, they share with me like their frustrations. They will kind of open up and be vulnerable about things that, you know, they like or they don't like. And that was really just why I kind of got into this realm, is just, you know, you shouldn't, you know, you're 28 or 29 now?
I am 31.
You're 31 now, okay. So I'm a little, yeah.
That's okay.
That's good, right? But, you know, you got your daughter, you know, you got Harper, you got your wife, you got this beautiful studio, you got a lot of stuff going on, and, you know, there's only so much time in a day, and our time is our most valuable currency. And you should be surrounding yourself with people that you want to surround yourself with, people that build a relationship back with you, and people that genuinely get to know you for who you are and not just what you do, even though what you do is spectacular, but who you are is spectacular too. And, you know, I think that if people get to know your love for the Mets, people get to know your love for just marketing in general, like you're so passionate about it. And I think that who you are is such a wonderful place to start. And then when people get to know what you do, it's that much more complimentary because they've gotten to know you.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I think that broadly applies to every single person in business, right? It's building those relationships that are not only going to be fruitful, but that are going to, I guess, light you up in a way and be enjoyable for you. There's multiple schools of thought when it comes to enjoyment versus making money and really hustling and getting out there. But I believe that the approach that you take allows you to do both. Enjoy the people that you're with, enjoy the things that you're doing with them, and also to, you know, grow the business and make money, if that's part of your goals.
The lunch I just came from with Tony, we went to Toa, one of my favorite lunch spots. You know, I had lunch there last time, and I told Tony before the lunch, and then I made a comment to him afterwards. I was just genuinely excited to catch up with Tony, hear about how his vacation went. You know, him and the family went down to Brazil. He just earned a new client. I introduced him to someone that has been giving him opportunities, and he just closed a couple of new clients from this relationship. And I just wanted to catch up with him. I just genuinely enjoyed spending time with him. He's a nice guy. He's a family man. He's a business owner. He's, you know, hustling and working hard. And after the lunch, you know, we were walking over here to the studio, and, you know, I looked at him. We kind of stopped walking for a second. We were at a crosswalk, and I said, you know, I just want you to know, Tony, like, this is one of the first lunches I've had in a long time that, like, there was really no agenda for either one of us. It was just catching up and saying hello and, like, genuinely wanting to spend time together. And you think about all the time that we have in our life. You know, we don't know how much time that is. And you should be spending it with people that you want to be around, you know, where there isn't a double-edged sword, where there isn't always an agenda. And one of the things that Tony brought up to me, you know, we were talking about my new company, and, you know, we were talking about the vetting process, and we were talking about, you know, how people apply and go through the process. And one of the things I said to Tony was, I'm like, you know, it's something I really wish people would know. And, like, I'm glad I'm saying this on a podcast right now.
You have a great opportunity to tell everyone right now.
Is like the people that apply to our community, the people that go through the vetting, these are people that I'm going to be seeing multiple times a week or a month, whether it's lunches or education gatherings or, you know, doing business together. And you need to genuinely choose the people that you want to be around. You know, it needs to be complementary for both sides. If it's not complementary, it becomes complicated. And, you know, when I was building this new community, you know, part of the vetting is if this person came to my personal residence at 11 o'clock at night and knocked on my door or texted me, said, hey, I'm outside, whether they need food, shelter, Wi-Fi, whatever it is, maybe something happened, maybe the car broke down, I want to be able to open my door to that person. Hey, Steve, come on in. I'm going to go back to bed. Make yourself at home. And I think that's how you should look at the business that you do. The people you surround yourself with is you feel comfortable enough to let them into your own home, and you can go back to sleep at 11 o'clock at night. And whether they need food, the couch, they need to get work done, you just trust them. You trust them in your home. You know that your family's there, but you still trust them in your home because that's the type of person that you want around yourself. And I think that's the most important thing in any vetting is who you're spending your time with, how you're spending your time with them. Our time is our most valuable currency. So in our vetting process, that is something that, like, I genuinely believe in, is that, like, I want to be around you. I don't want to look at you as just a number. I don't want to look at you as just someone that's, you know, paying a monthly subscription to be in my community. I want to look at you as someone that, like, I'm on this journey with you, this adventure, this quest, you know, going back to what we were talking about before with, you know, it's part of our journeys together.
Mm-hmm. We'll come back to that because we'll definitely dive into the vetting process and what you're doing with the new company now. But you started off by saying that you had to have a moment of clarity to decide what it is you wanted to do in the first place, or kind of set you off on this networking journey that you're on that turned into all these amazing things for yourself. What was that moment of clarity?
I've always, you know, I imagine almost anyone wants to be a problem solver. I'm the type of person that I won't stand in a line if the line doesn't feel right. And I just started seeing a lot of patterns, a lot of historical things that people would say that just would hit pain points. And I was relating to those pain points. And it's like, if that line doesn't feel right, why am I standing on it? So for me, you know, I've always been very relationship driven. I've always genuinely wanted to get to know people for who they are. Like, I want to understand, like, you know, I'm going to ask you this. Why did you name your daughter Harper?
Because my wife really liked the name.
Okay.
There's no like family tie to it at all.
It wasn't after Bryce?
No, definitely not. In fact, that was something that I thought about.
Yeah, you had to.
And that like when I told my friends we all went to Penn State together, like all my college friends, and they're all like live in Philly. And
did anyone get you a Harper jersey yet?
No, but when they said the name, they were like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna let this one guy that's a baseball player that I'm not gonna say I hate him, but that I wish would lose more often than he wins."
And now your daughter's named that.
Yeah, now my daughter's named that, and like It's actually funny. We were, my family's all big Mets fans. So one day, we had picked out the name before she was born, and we're hanging out at my family's house, and the Mets are playing the Phillies. It's on TV, and my brother-in-law's father, John, is screaming at the TV, I fucking hate Harper. I hate Harper. And like me and my wife just keep looking at it every time the name pops up on the TV or something. Like they weren't calling him Bryce. They weren't like they call him Harper on the TV. And my sister at that point knew the name. And every time she looked at us and she was like, you sure you want to do this? Like, are you sure? Because this is going to happen for the next few years until he retires. But yeah, there's no real like story behind it. It was just a name that we both liked and enjoyed.
And you know, going back to it, it's like that's part of like who you are. Like it's important. So like for me, like I talk about my kids a lot in business. You know, I've 3 right now. My wife wants a 4th. You know.
I heard you say right now, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right now. And you know, for all their names, like you know, I'll use my middle son, Jackson, is a more appropriate example than my other 2 kids. We spell his name Jaxson, and a few months after Jackson was born, you know, people are saying like, "How did you get the name?" And I'm saying the story in my house out loud. You know, my wife's in the other room, and I'm like, you know, one of the first shows my wife and I watched was Sons of Anarchy, and you know, Jax Teller. You know, Charlie Union was like such a badass, cool actor, and like we named him Jax, to Jax Teller. And my wife's like, "What are you telling people?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm telling them how we got Jackson's name." And she's like, "It's not how we got it." I'm like, want to tell me more? And she goes, you haven't noticed the magnet on the refrigerator from Jackson's ice cream parlor in Florida where my grandpa used to take us? And I'm like, I got to tell people that we named our son after an ice cream parlor. I'm like, Sons of Anarchy was such a cooler example. But I'm like, all right. But like that's the thing. It's like, you know, you get to know each other, and that's my thing. You use the word networking, and like, I don't not like the word networking. It's just I feel like the word networking has just been misused and abused in so many ways where, you know, kind of like the hairs on your neck stand up in a bad way when you hear it. You think of an uncomfortable environment, or you think of, you know, someone pitching you or just trying to sell you, or you think of people that are just sales professionals that have commission breath. You know, you can smell the bad breath of their sale on the breath. And, you know, for me, it was always about, you know, going back to the word relationship driven. Words, it's 2 words. And
yeah, we'll put a hyphen in between, make it 1 word.
Right.
Relationship driven.
And, you know, I think that when you can surround yourself with the people that you choose to surround yourself with, like I don't know all your clients. I know a couple of your clients. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite clients that you have is Dominic, like Dominic Maneri. Like I love Dominic. I'm going to give him a shout out. He, you know, the fun guy. And he's wonderful. He's spectacular. But you get to know about Dominic. You get to know about his family. You get to know his story. You get to know about who he is, his story. He's got a phenomenal story that I wish more people would know about, because he has a second lease on life. Mm-hmm. And you look at who Dominic is as a person. Like, I hope we can give him this clip so he can hear, like, you know, putting him on this pedestal right now. But Dominic is one of the best people, like, in the world. And you get to know him for who he is, not just what he does. Like, yes, he's the fun guy, but like, people aren't going to know what that means when they hear this.
He's the right guy for your fun guy.
He's the right guy for your
Long Island mold guy.
The Long Island mold guy. And, but you get to know him, and you don't just get to know him because he can come into your house and, you know, help with the mold behind the wall or the mold on the ceiling. You get to know him, and you realize his passion, his enthusiasm, and who he is as a human being. And that to me is what networking should be. Is let me build these relationships authentically. Let me put, you know, a relationship isn't 50-50. It's 100-100. We both have to put in 100%. And you have to build relationships with people that build them back with you. And that to me is what networking should be. So, you know, going back to when you asked me the initial question before we went into Harper and Jackson and ice cream parlors and the fun guy, the right guy for your fun guy. I feel like this should be like we should have like a slogan thing for Dominic on this one, like the right guy for your fun guy. Should cross market him on this podcast.
Well, it's funny. I actually, by the time people see this, his episode will be out. It's coming out literally on Monday.
So then click on the links. You'll see it, Dominic's episode in this one.
Learn his story.
Good.
Really an incredible story.
I hope he shared it 100% with no holding back.
Yeah.
'Cause it's one of those stories.
There were tears.
Yeah, good. It deserves tears.
That he was worried about, in a way. Like he was
Yeah.
like, I want to see that before it goes out.
I cry. Like I try not to tell other people's stories. Like I love people's stories, like their journeys. Like I know your story. You know, we've known each other going on 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know where you started from. I know where you moved into your office. Like you met Dean because of our relationship, you know, from back in the day.
Yeah.
And like I love being able to see people's like evolution and, you know, where they came from to where they're going. And I tell Dominic's story very rarely, like in depth, because it's not my story to tell for him. But sometimes when I tell a story, like I get teary eyed, because you think about it as a man, you think about it as a dad. You know, you got kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know, life and death situation, and not everybody always comes out on top.
It's a great teaser to have people go back and watch that one.
Yeah, right.
If they haven't seen it already.
The right guy for your fun guy.
Yeah, his story is incredible, and he is a great person, very empathetic. It's kind of the reason why he got into the work that he got into, because it's so related. People think of mold and remediation, and mold and remediation as like a almost like a dirty business where like people are trying to get the most out of you and then like leverage insurance and make like you in the restoration field that there's a negative connotation in general. Same way that there's a negative connotation with the word networking when you hear it, or the word like wellness. It means so many different things to different people. But the reason that he got into the mold side of things in particular is because, generally speaking, not in all cases, but generally speaking, mold is a result of ignoring a problem that exists. It's a result of people leaving things untouched because other things are going on in their life. And so a lot of the people that he meets there, they're having these struggles with their life, and then this mold problem pops up because they've been not taking care of their home, or there was a flood and they didn't fully get rid of the water because their mom's sick and they're taking care of them. And
this is a good analogy for a lot of things. You know,
yeah,
you got mold in your life.
Everybody does.
We all got mold in our life.
We've all got mold in our life, and we got to find ways to get rid of that.
Yeah. For me, you know, going back to the question you asked, it's really challenging in business in so many ways, shapes, and forms. You know, it's not just challenging by, you know, keeping a roof over your family's head. It's not just challenging by hiring and having employees. It's not just challenging by, you know, even cybersecurity and being a business owner. Like, you got to protect your, you know, you got clients' credit card information, you got this going, whatever it is. Like, it's challenging. And I always wanted to be around people that I could have those conversations with that understood it. Like, there's always, I always do quotation fingers when I use the word get it. Like, not everybody gets it. And when you find people that get it, whether it's in building a relationship, people that have been there, done that, seen that, experienced that, and those are the people I want to surround myself with. And that's why I use that word community. It's funny. Maybe we can, you know, we'll put my new logo in this moment here.
Yeah, I'd love to.
But I worked with Asaf Bachman, you know, the brand chef for my new community. It's called Nooks and Socials. And Asaf, I told him everything I wanted. And I said, it's the chef's choice, because he's the chef, the brand chef. And, you know, the three circles I have that overlap, you know, in the word Nooks, you know, it's two circles that overlap there. And then the word social has the O and then the C. And I've been thinking of how to explain this to people so they understand what this logo means, because it's not just the word Nooks and Socials. Like, I really want those three circles in the C to be the logo. And, you know, I've always expressed that in networking and relationship building, you know, it should be personal, professional, and social. So using those two circles on the top, the circle on the bottom left and then the C on the bottom right, you have 360 degrees of personal, professional, social, community, where you're getting to know people and their daughter Harper. You get to know people for their business. You get to know people for, you know, what excites them and their hobbies and their interests and so forth. And for me, that was always what I wanted to build. And I realized that because networking for me was not working. And I always did things a little different. And then people would see how I was doing them and they enjoyed them, and people were getting business out of it, and people were learning stuff out of it, and people were building relationships out of it, and people were trying new experiences or trying golf. You know, my one-to-ones used to be going to the driving range instead of going to a Starbucks. Not hating though on Starbucks, because it is my office away from home, a full quarter of a mile from my house. But
we've all been to your Starbucks.
I know.
But how do you, I guess, what do you see as the biggest reason why people are, why their networking is not working?
I think it's lack of intention and purpose. I think people aren't really strategic. They're just they're standing in that line. They're not thinking of a strategy. They're not thinking of, you know, who do I actually want to be around? I like food. I want to be around foodies. I like sports. I want to be around people that like sports. You know, you should do it in a strategic way. You know, going back to that saying, time is our most valuable currency. We should have a tally on this podcast for like how many times we say that phrase.
You've said it 3 times. So
it's my third one, yeah. Thanks for catching it, right? Say 3 tallies. And you know, like you love the Mets. You love talking business. You love talking operations. Like, there's settings that you could put yourself in to have those conversations where you're learning together, you're growing together, you're building together, and you can do business together. It doesn't just have to be walking into a room or a bar and going up to someone and saying, "What do you do?" Most people hate what they do. Most people cannot stand what they do. Whether they own the business or they're an employee, most people just don't like what they do. And when you ask that question, "What do you do?" you're now putting someone on the spotlight to talk about what they fucking hate. Or they don't enjoy, or they can't wait to get out of it, or maybe they're looking for a new job, but they can't tell you they're looking for a new job because they need to be telling you what they currently do in hopes that they convert you as a client, or maybe you refer them somebody. And I just never liked that energy. I always felt like it was just forced.
It's very funny. I have a almost 10-month-old daughter at the time of recording this, and my wife, when she had the baby, she joined this group at the nesting place in Farmingdale, which was called the 4th Trimester Support Group. It's essentially just like, it was a support group for women who just gave birth, but it was also just like a place to go learn resources, but also meet other people who are going through the same situation that you are and learn from them. And she made a lot of friends in that group. And so for months, she would go to this class every week and hang out with the same ladies who have kids that are within a month of our daughter's age. And she became very close with a bunch of them. And then we started hanging out with them and their husbands and their kids. And we kind of created our own little community of parents now.
Your own nesting place.
Yeah, exactly. But now we do it outside. We do swim classes and gym classes for the kids every weekend. That we meet up with these people that have become very close to us in a short period of time. And we're kind of like all raising our kids together. The women have been getting together all the time. They'll do like once a month, they'll go out to dinner or something, but the dads haven't done anything yet. And the other day we went to dinner, and we went to a bar and got some wings and some drinks on Monday Night Football for the first time that like all the dads were just together. And I walk in the room, and I'm the 5th one there out of 6. The 4 of them are at the table, and they're like, I walk into a conversation where they're like, you know, I'm not going to leave my job because it's too comfortable for me, but like, I don't love it. I don't, you know, I'm fine with it. It's fine. Like, they're kind of stuck in that spot of like, that spot of comfort. What's the
complacency?
Yeah, but Chris Williamson has a phrase that he uses for it. I think it's called region beta, which is basically like you're in a spot where you're too comfortable to take a risk, but in actually your life would be better off if you were in a worse scenario, because then you'd be forced to take action, right? And
uncomfortable.
I found a person, the 6th guy shows up, and he winds up sitting next to me at the end of the table, and then I find out that he is a startup guy, and it just like we just wound up, the 2 of us, having like an hour-long conversation where it was like nobody else at the table existed. We were just
they wouldn't understand it.
It just felt and flowed right, and it's like you get attracted to those people no matter where you are. Whether I'm at a Nooks and Social event because those people get it, or a dinner with the guys that I do dinners with quarterly who get it. And I just found myself like, those guys are great. I had a great time with them. We were joking around and having a good time. But when it came to talking business and work, it was like a foreign language to me, the way they were talking, until that guy Stefan was sitting across from me. And I was like, we're going to talk for an hour now. And we just went, and it went wide ranging. It was family. It was all this. It wasn't just business related. It was off the backs of having a shared experience, which was really cool.
It was relatable for both of you. Yeah. So every month I do these haircut hangouts. I know that I've
yet to make one.
Yeah. So there's, it's funny because I've been going to the same barber for a few years since COVID. It's literally the barbershop I was going to was a half a mile from my house. Great experience. I'm the kind of guy, I don't know what kind of guy you are. I like long haircuts. Like, I don't get pampered a lot. I'm not a big massage guy. I love a nice long haircut. Take your time. I don't care if I'm in the chair for 2 hours. The longer, the better. And my barber is, my prior barber. His name is Captain. Probably mid-50s, wears a captain's outfit, captain's hat. Yeah, we could put this like a little something SpongeBob-y on there. Aye, Captain.
I like that you're giving the editing team directions here. It's good. We know exactly what to do.
I see him.
He's taking notes. Brian's taking notes sitting at the desk there. He's like, all right,
he's
insert
got the
captain's hat now at 1:30.
Yeah, he's got 22 seconds.
It's 22 degrees Celsius.
Wow, you leave it on Celsius. Okay. You like to think.
It turns off and on, and it just does its thing.
So I've been going to Captain for a few years, and it's great. When he's cutting your hair, when he's shaving the back, he also does like a massage with this hand, on the neck. Even if you don't get a hot towel shave, he still gives you like a hot towel experience because he does the razor on the neck and on the ear, like over here and stuff. So I went to our buddy Russ.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the event that he had at Stone Goat. Shout out to Stone Goat in St. James right now. Our buddy Keith, who is one of the investors there. And I met this guy, Chris. And, Chris is there, and, we're getting to know each other, and he tells me he has a barbershop. And I tell him about my Captain. We could do a Robin Williams thing here for Captain My Captain. What is that? Dead Poet Society?
Okay. I've never actually seen Dead Poet
Great movie.
Society.
It's a long time
I thought you were
ago.
going Captain Hook.
Oh, that's another good one. Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Yes.
What's the Robin Williams one is Hook.
Hook.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, Dustin Hoffman. And I'm talking to the guy, Chris, and I'm telling him about Captain. So I'm telling him all the things I love, all the things I just shared. But then I told him all the things I don't like. And I'm like, I got to have Captain meet me at the barbershop at 7 a.m. because they open around 8:30. And once all the other workers get there, they're loud. They're scrolling their phones. They start playing music, news. Someone else goes in the chair. They're talking politics. I'm like, I like being in the chair for as long as I can to relax, but it's not very relaxing. So Chris says, well, hey, my barbershop's a one-on-one experience. It's just you and me. And I said, so I don't have to come at 7 a.m. and, have you come out of your way? He goes, no. He goes, you come to me. He goes, anytime. I'm like, what if I want to come at night? He goes, I live above. He goes, I live upstairs. He goes, all I do is walk downstairs. I'm like, so you're telling me that if I want to get a haircut at 9 o'clock at night, he goes, come on down. And he's right on the water in Centerport. And I love the Eagles, the music, the band Eagles. And so I felt like I was cheating on my barber, the Captain. And
well, you were.
I absolutely was. And, I told Russ I was going to go give Chris a shot. So I go to Chris's shop at, 9 o'clock at night. I tell him, hey, can you have Eagles on when I get there? And he doesn't let anybody else in the barbershop until the person leaves. So he doesn't want to interrupt. Chris doesn't like the anxiety of having too many people in the barber chair, like waiting, where he feels like he has to rush this person's haircut because someone's standing there waiting. And then the person in the chair feels like, hey, I'm making this person wait. So Chris texted me and said, come on in. I came in, the other person left, and the Eagles were on, got my haircut. It was all relaxing. So Russ and I started having these haircut hangouts once a month. We invite about 15, 20 people. Not everyone has to get their hair cut. Some people go to him separately, but we wanted to support a small business. That's what I'm getting at with this is that, Chris is a small business owner. He's a single dad. So every month now we host these haircut hangouts, kind of like how you did your nesting men's hangout. I don't know if it's a monthly thing or not, but, we all need to get our haircuts. We all want to do business together and network together and get to know each other and hang out. So now we do this monthly gathering, and, we have to put a date on the calendar for January. But where I'm going with it is, you built a sense of community with these people at the nesting place. You and your wife, you started on it. Excuse me. There's a chicken and broccoli burp from Toa. Tasted better going down than coming up. And shout out to Toa. Taste of Asia. Right? We're just going to have all these, it's going to be like Ricky Bobby. Like, we're going to have advertisements on the windshield.
Yeah, by the end of this, you're just going to be covered in stickers.
We're going to have...
like a race car.
We'll have Brian, at the end of this, put all the... we'll have, a running, almost like at the end of a movie, when they show the cast, what's that called? We'll have credits of all the names and mentions in this video.
Perfect.
Brand chef.
Yeah.
Dominic. The right guy for your fun guy.
Chris now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got it on there.
Toa.
This guy Stefan. I don't know who Stefan is, but he's a
Stefan.
startup.
Yeah, I'd
love to meet him. That'd be a great person, because we'll get it in our conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But where I'm going with this is, you and your wife, you built this community together with these people from the nesting place, all people that were going through having a baby for the first time. Babies are a month old apart from each other, but you put effort into it. Your wife put effort into it. And that's one of the things that I find myself doing, that I try to teach other people to do, is put effort into it. Like we're having an event here at Bella Vita on Friday, January 30th. The day after, we're doing you guys are doing
the Chef's Brand Table,
the Chef's
Summit that Asaf is hosting, that I'll be speaking at, and a bunch of other experts as well. We have Glenn Romanelli.
These are all members of Nooks and Socials.
AIO.
We could shout them out.
We're gonna throw them all out there.
Well, that'll go into the cast, the reels.
Exactly. They're going in right at the end of the credits.
Got Emily.
Emily will be there. She's talking about leadership and mindset when it comes to branding.
Love
overall.
it.
And then Alex Hurd will also be there talking about how to protect yourself, protect your brand, and everything that's going on. Glenn, I don't know if I mentioned that he's doing SEO and
Glenn
AIO.
came to the haircut hangout the other night.
Oh, nice. Glenn's a good guy.
Glenn's great.
I haven't spent much time with him, but all the conversations I ever have with him, just like, this guy's kind of cool.
I'm going to tell you something about Glenn. Glenn was really looking for a sense of that community. We bring up that word community, sense of belonging, sense of friendships, sense of collaboration. And Glenn has been such a supporting cast member to me. Just seeing how much someone appreciates what you do. Mm-hmm. And the impact it's had on them. Like, he's on this chef's panel with you because of the relationships that we've developed, the networking.
Of the things that we've met through your companies.
And for me, it's very humbling to see that. I used to want it from an ego standpoint, being the one responsible for the connections, my consulting business, Connections for Hire. I've always just loved making connections for people. But seeing the way that you, Asaf, Emily, Glenn, Alex, is there anyone we're missing? Because I don't want to miss anyone.
No, that's the whole panel. It's 5 of us.
Beautiful. I told the chef, I said, I'd love to be a sponsor, supporter of this thing in some way, shape, or form for you guys. Because it means so much to me that you guys, you met through the nesting place. I don't know if you've shown any gratitude to the nesting place, written them a letter, a review, but think of these people that you just had beer and wings with. Think about this guy Stefan that you were talking to, that you were able to have this hour-long conversation to make a difference or give him some guidance or mentorship. If it wasn't for the nesting place, if it wasn't for you all having your babies, this community wouldn't have helped you build this other community. Mm-hmm. And that's really all I ever ask for. In all the business I do is we have love language. Love language is some is gifts, some is words of affirmation, some is just time together, some is someone putting effort into something for you. And for me, my love language is just words. And to have someone say Adam, we all met because of you. That makes me feel really good. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I get to see you guys doing all this together, that makes me feel really good.
It should, because you created the environment for these great things to happen and continue to do so all the time. And we're all very grateful for that. So thank you.
Thank you. And that I'd say that's one of the challenging things in my business too. And, loyalty is a tough thing. Mm-hmm. You never want someone to feel obligated to do something just because. And, I really, I eat, live, sleep, believe that finding those people, finding your people, one of the new taglines I have in Nooks and Socials is your business community. And when I was talking with Tony at lunch, Tony was saying, he goes, Adam, he saw my whole event, all my events for the month of January. And he's like, these are spectacular. And he's like, it's like a buffet. You pick whatever you want. And maybe you want to try something, or maybe this is the nourishment or the substance that you need in your business right now. And just from hearing him say that, like, he was leaning on the word community, and like, it's helped him and it's helped you. And I think more people need to find that sense of community, whatever that is for them. And you could have multiple communities that make sense for you, but what drives you, what inspires you, what motivates you, what makes you better, what allows you to enjoy that with your family, with your business, with your clients, with your friends.
I was having a similar conversation with several other business owners the other day about not just us, but about the younger generation of people coming up and living in what we view as an isolated way. Even though we're constantly connected and we're constantly surrounded by communication, whether we got these phones in our pockets that we can talk to people, we're actually finding it harder to communicate with people because you don't know where to get them or how to get them, or you have to call them, leave a text, and DM them, and all this. It's like the communication aspect is falling off, and it's because people are living in isolation a little bit more. And we were talking about community, right? We're talking about like having your people, or having those people that you can go to when you have a problem. And I think because of how easily connected we are in today's day and age, we're actually further apart from each other because it feels like they can always be there, right? It's we were talking about like text message threads that never end, where there's no like end of a conversation, goodbye, I'll talk to you later. It's just like I answer it again the next day or 2 days later when I have the moment to continue and pick up that conversation. And that's not something that has existed historically. There's always been like the goodbye, I'll talk to you later, I'll see you later, or see you next month when we do this event again.
It's funny when you text someone you haven't texted in a while and you see the last text that you sent them, and it's like, wow, I can't believe it's been 2 months.
Yeah. It's often, for me, I get a text from them and I look back and I go, oh shit, I didn't answer their last text before that.
One of the things I learned this years ago. So people will reply and they'll say, I'm sorry for the delay. And I'll say, hey, it wasn't anything urgent. No need to apologize. You got to it when you got to it. I think, having the phones in the pocket, whether it's social media, email, there's a sense of like immediacy. And, listen, let's think, if we were to add up right now, we could use this as a counter. We might need both of our hands. So we have email, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Slack, WhatsApp, school. I have my text messaging platform. Let's keep naming things. What are other places?
Use Discord for certain things.
Keep going.
You have just traditional phone calls.
And
then there's voicemail.
Text messaging. Yeah.
That's 11 right there.
That's 11. We could probably
and
still
I'm
go.
sure there's more.
And one of my friends, we'll plug Phil DePaul. He is the founder of Boom Zeal. He owns a couple different businesses.
I've never actually met Phil.
Oh, Phil's wonderful. He's one of the founding members of Nooks and Socials.
Awesome.
You'll meet him at the launch event. We haven't talked about the launch event yet. But
don't worry. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We're going to do plenty of promoting for this for this new company and the new events that you have going on.
But Phil, he built a community on school, for his people. And, Phil asked me, he goes, Adam, I'd really appreciate it if you would log in and engage. And I did it, and I'm going to do it. And I'm not doing it because he asked me to. I'm doing it because I want to see what the value is there. Phil's big on value, and he's just a great guy in general. And it's another, but my hesitation, before he said to me, I'd really appreciate if you downloaded and engage, my hesitation was another thing, another password, another email, another this. I have to, and I think when someone asks you something, like for me, like I'll say to someone, like, give me a chance. Give me a chance. The only way you're going to know is if you give me a chance. And I feel like people need a chance. So going back to the communication platforms, it's a lot. I want to do another quick shout out that we could use in the credits of this. Nicole Crevejo. Nicole has been a friend of mine for many years. She was one of the first members of Nooks and Socials. I'm wearing a pin right now. I want to just give it a shout out. Lapel pins. I know this is going to sound silly, but think of an organization. Think of something that's important to you, whether it's a children's organization, a national organization, a nonprofit, something that is important to you. And think about, you're going out all the time. You're wearing dress clothes. Or you're wearing, a jacket or something. This pin I have on right now is Nicole had it made. Suicide prevention is very important to her. She had some family member that, attempted unsuccessfully suicide. And, where I'm going with this is, I rock this pin, to spread awareness for suicide prevention. But even though whether it's hit me personally or not, I'm supporting this person. I'm supporting because it's important to me. It's important to them. And I feel like when you find out what's important to people, it's also a great conversation starter, to say like, hey, what's that pin in regards to? And you never know what you might say that sparks someone to say like, you know what? I have so many toys in my house. I would love to donate to that organization. Or, hey, you know what? I have a neighbor that just battled this and I would love to introduce him to you to introduce him. So plug on lapel pins here. Ladies can wear lapel pins too. Where do you go from there?
That's a hard cut. I think we just bring it back to where I want to eventually go, which is Nooks and Socials. You've mentioned it. We've talked about it. We've talked about the logo and what that means in passing, but we never really talked about the creation of it and why it exists today. And so let's just start there. Creation. Why does Nooks and Socials exist today?
I've been very passionate about bringing people together, like-minded, like-hearted, something they have in common, but not just business, hobbies, interests, who we are as people. And, the way that I came up with the name is, think of the word Nook, N-O-O-K. It's a cozy place. It's a place where you feel comfortable. It's a place that's yours. Think about your house. You probably have a nook in your house, a place in your house that's just like your spot. Like for me, it's in the corner of my couch by the backyard window. We have a really nice couch. It's super cozy. And the couch, the part I'm talking about has the leg lounge part. Mm-hmm. It's not like the lounging up. It's like just always out. It's like, the letter L. It's the L of the L. And that to me is my nook. Like whether it's at nighttime and I'm just kind of scrolling through social media or whether it's the morning I'm drinking my coffee, but that's my cozy place that I like to be. And the word nook in my business means a cozy place to work on your business, to build your business. We have different categories of nooks. We have education nooks. That could be a speaker, a panel, a workshop. For example, we have in January, we have 3 speaker nooks. We have 3 of the mentors of Nooks and Socials are hosting something called Support Nooks for our members to open up a little bit more vulnerable. The other side of the Nooks, so that was the education side. And then the other side is called Collaboration Nooks, where you bring our members together around large B2B, small B2B, B2C. We do industry collaboration nooks where you get together with other people in the marketing space. We have support nooks where a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more opening up and sharing what you're going through, because we're not alone. We feel alone, but we're not alone. And that's why, going back to the quotation fingers, we'll have a tally for the quotation fingers too. I think we're up to 12. Joking, I have no idea. It's probably 12 though. And then we have community nooks that bring all of our members together, the community, that sense of community. So that's the nook side of things. So a cozy, comfortable place to learn together, to grow together, to work on the business together in vulnerable conversations. And then the social side of it is building relationships. It could be around an activity. It could be around a morning coffee social that we're hosting here at Bella Vita in Huntington at 310. Is it New York?
310 New York Avenue.
New York Ave. Yeah, it's going to be on Friday, January 30th, the day after the Chef's Round Table.
Bringing it back every time.
Bringing it back every time.
All these days over.
It's like a rotating slide reel on a TV.
Yeah.
Every 15 seconds.
So tell me, how did you get into networking?
Yes.
We'll just start over the whole podcast again.
Yeah, but Nooks and Socials. Nooks are places to work on your business, and socials are places to build relationships. we have we've engaged in a phenomenal event planning team. This girl Taylor, talk about like a go-getter, like someone that just was hungry to earn the opportunity. Like I needed a corporate event planner. I have 6 to 8 events a month, and I needed someone that was hungry, that wanted to take the ball and run with it, create and curate real experiences and places where our members can learn together, can grow together, can kind of level up. And, we have our whole entire first quarter plan, January, February, March. All the dates are like branded in my head. By the way, I know you're a foodie. And you can invite your other foodie friends to this on January 27th. It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
Really cool restaurant in the Roslyn area, technically East Norwich. That is on Long Island. I did not know this. There's a phenomenal, I want to say a Michelin restaurant, but I don't know if it's Michelin, but that's like the vibe you're there. It's called Hunter, the restaurant.
Okay.
The owner's name is Hunter. He's in his late 30s. Really cool, eclectic dude. Different type of eclectic than the right guy for your fun guy. And we're doing like a really nice foodie experience to bring our members together, like around food. And where I'm going with this is just like Tony was saying, like Adam, like all these different things that you're putting together, and the Nooks to work on the business, the socials to bring people together, to socialize, to build relationships. This is giving people something to look forward to. Not just networking because they're trying to get business or trying to create more revenue, but like you're giving them an experience. On March 5th, we rented out it's called Lunchbox Brewery in Belmore.
Mm-hmm.
Really, have you been there before?
I haven't been, but I know it.
I haven't been there before either, but I've read a little bit about it. But like, what a cool, what do you know about it?
I know they have decent beer.
They have decent beer. So we're doing a tasting experience. They do a tasting out of an old school metal lunchbox. How cool is that?
That's cool.
Like,
that's experience. Everything that you're talking about, a lot of the things that you're talking about have been experience based. Chris the barber, it's the experience. You walk in the room,
got the Eagles on,
playing.
man.
Like, I had a couple weeks ago, I had Brandon Nickel.
I love him.
And
so February 5th, it's a Thursday night. Him and Jeff Gullier, they're co-hosting an event with me at Napper Tandy's in Bayshore. He's going to play live music.
Amazing.
Brandon's have you heard him play live music yet?
I have. In fact, that's where I was going with this. Is I know that he's been in a couple of bands and is in a couple of bands right now that are putting out new music. And I knew he was coming by to check out the space to potentially do some content here. And when he walked in, playing on the TV was his band. I just made sure that when he walked in, like his music
out
was
of
playing.
here.
Like I started listening to it earlier that morning because I knew he was coming by.
Gosh.
And I just left it on. And
I just got chills.
he came in the door.
What a good move.
Thank you. Well, because it's the experience, right? And you want to cultivate. You want people to feel comfortable. You walk into this space, and I'm sorry to turn this on myself and
please
plug
turn
ourselves,
it.
but like why we created this space is so that people can have a great experience when they come in. There are plenty of content studios out there. There are plenty of great content studios out there who do a great job with their work. But where they're lacking, or where we see the gap, is in the experience of what they're able to accomplish in the space. When you walk into a space and you feel comfortable and you're like the team's out there working, it's creative, you walk into this cool environment where like music is playing and the team is working hard and they're helping each other, and it's like, oh, hey, like, thanks, nice for coming in. Like, you can sit down, they're waiting for you. Dan's in his room recording and we're in here recording. There's something to like being comfortable and being in that environment that gets the best out of people and puts you in that headspace, right? So you're talking about all these different experiences that you're curating for people, that you want them to be in a comfortable environment, whether it's all the Nooks and Socials that you have coming up, or your barbershop hangouts where Chris is setting the environment for you. You kind of built your life and what you want around that. And that is something that it just takes intention to create for people that goes a very long way. I don't know where I'm going with.
I think we should do like.
That to our
I think we should like have like
cool.
a moment of silence for the words that just came out of your mouth. We'll do a countdown of 10 seconds for the moment of silence.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was good. I just want to say though, man, like all seriously, like What a stellar move for you to do, to have his music playing, and it's good music.
Oh, so that's where it was connecting. That's where it was connecting, is that he came in and he didn't even. It was just playing in the background.
I didn't realize you forgot where the connection was.
Yes, he didn't even know. He didn't even connect it when he walked in the door. Like, he was just like, "Oh, the place is cool. There's music playing, blah blah blah." And then, like, I think a song ended and another one started, and he was like, and he looked at the screen and he was like, "That's me."
I wish I could do good impressions, because like I know Brandon very well. Like I could see him almost being like almost like a slow motion reaction.
It just like it sank in where he's just like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's you." And he was like, "Cool." And then we came in here. He was just coming to like check it out and see what we were capable of, and like maybe doing something in January. And I was like, "Why don't you sit down?" And he sat down in the chair. And I was like, "Mind if I just hit record?" And so I hit record, got the audio board going. It wasn't like I didn't have Brian sitting there. It was just an empty room, the two of us. And when it was done, we made some clips out of it and sent it to him. And then I saw him 2 weeks later, just randomly on the street here in Huntington. He was coming out of Q Ramen, which we'll add to the credits, which is a great ramen spot here on Main Street in Huntington. I go, "Did you like the clips?" And he's like, "Dude, I love them." And I was like, "So why didn't you use them? Why didn't you post them? Why didn't you put it out there?" And he's like, "Oh, I felt bad. Like, I didn't pay you for it. I didn't do this thing." I was like, "No, I gave them to you."
He
like,
respects your craft.
Yeah, but I gave them to you so that they could be helpful and like you could use them. Like, you came in and we did this thing. Like, you're gonna put it out there. And they started posting them. We put a couple up on LinkedIn, and it's like it's just a cool experience and environment that we're trying to curate. And you're doing the same thing with everything that you're doing.
Thank you for
with the intention of that.
With the intention and purpose.
Yeah,
it goes back to it. You ever see the movie? I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Of course.
I always think of when Rob Schneider is like, "It's a round circle." You could put that in the credits too, Brian. That's a good
No, we're only gonna put local businesses and people that we know in the credits.
Sorry, Rob Schneider.
I don't know you personally, so.
It's a good thing.
You're not in the credits. Everyone knows you already.
Yeah. So, I wanted to be able to plug the launch event. And now it's funny because the launch event is actually invitation only. Mm-hmm. The numbers are building up. We should have a very large turnout for this. It's going to be on Friday, January 9th. And it's so I don't know if you know this. I don't think I shared it with you. And if I did, I'll repeat myself now so people can hear it. But one of the things that I've curated, I've been very blessed, like the same way that you've had people that have come across your life. We know mutual people that have made a big difference in your life. Adam and Tom, Dean, mm-hmm. like there's people that have been part of your journey that have seen you do what you've done. And I have those people too. I've those people over the last 12 years. And one of the things I curated is a team of mentors that are all members of Nooks and Socials, 14 of them. And these have been 14 people between 2 years and 12 years of my life, one person 15 years, that have been major impacts in my business world. And they've seen my journey, my growth. They've seen everything I've done. And these are all mentors that I asked not just to be members of the community, but I said, the way that you've made an impact and a difference for me, I know you can make an impact and a difference for others around me. And because of our vetting process and being so selective with finding the right people that complement our community, I genuinely want to share my mentors with our community. And that's been like a value add. Like, even though the business isn't launched yet, it's launching soon. But the feedback I've been getting from members when they hear this, they're like, "Wait a second, so you're telling me that I could have a one-to-one with this person that I've never met before, but they're going to open their door and roll out the red carpet and genuinely try to help me in a way, shape, or form through the relationship that you've built with them." I call that a transference of credibility. When you take the credibility that you have with someone, like if you were to introduce someone to Adam or Tom, you would say, "Just trust me."
Yeah, absolutely.
And the credibility you have with Adam and Tom, we'll put them in the credits.
And vice versa, right? It's like, I know when they introduce me to someone, there's a reason for me to meet that person.
And that's
that I can help that person or they can help me. And that's the intention going into it.
And that's why, like, I got a serious face now. That's why it's so important to know who you're collaborating with or spending your time with, because your reputation is your net worth. Like, if I introduce you to someone and they're late, they don't show up, they don't communicate, they come in, they're disheveled, or they're all over the place, or whatever the case is, or they're just coming in trying to pitch you and sell you on your IT or your lighting, whatever the case is. Like Adam, like, did you like put any thought or any vetting into this introduction before making it? And like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in networking is people make introductions with other people without willy-nilly. I have a close friend who I adore. I'm not going to mention her name on this podcast, but she'll probably know who she is if she listens to this. And she means so well with making introductions for people. And that's like one of her way of helping people. Like, let me make an introduction. But I feel like introductions need to be tailor-made, and there needs to be a reason and a purpose behind it. Otherwise, you're just kind of connecting people to connect people. I wrote a blog years ago. I don't know if put it in the comments.
Yeah, if you can find it.
It's called Passing the Connection Monkey.
Okay.
And it's like, hey, Steve, I have an introduction for you. So I make an introduction. And then you introduce that person to this person, to this person, to this person. And then this person introduces that person back to me. And I look at the lineage of who it is. And I say to this person, like, wow, you know what? All those people that introduced you, like, this went nowhere. There's no business out of it. You're just meeting to meet people. You're just, meeting to share a $5 cup of coffee at Starbucks. And now we're back to where we started, this ground one, where nothing's happened, but all these people, their time has kind of been wasted. And that's why I think, like, when you introduce or make an introduction or connection, there needs to be a tailor-made reason behind it. Like me bringing Tony here to your studio today. Tony's a CMO plus. Yeah. He doesn't do any actual marketing. He does the strategy. He does the analytics. He looks behind it. I wanted Tony to see your space. This is now a place, you're welcome, but this is now a place that Tony knows exists, and it's complementary to recommending it to a client, recommending it to someone he meets that wants to get their word or their message or their marketing out there. But there's intention behind that.
Yeah, he came in, he was talking about a podcast that he's going to be doing, and I was like, film it here. Like, come in, use the space for free. Like, I'm not going to charge you to try it out. If you're like, yes, this is perfect for me, then we'll talk business. But, like, come try it out and see what you got.
Another term that I have, so the other one was transference of credibility. This one is unconventional opportunity. One of my favorite qualities in people is when they show up. Just when people show up. You don't know the opportunity. Just show up. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what you're going to learn. You never know what you're going to experience. And I feel like, I don't know if it's fear. I don't know if it's like, you ever see the X-Men movie where the guy can, he could teleport into different rooms, but if he can't see what the room looks like, he can't teleport there. It's like the fear of the unknown. Just because you don't know, you're not going to try. You're not going to give it a chance. And I feel like when you show up, the unconventional opportunity of what you can learn, who you can meet, what you could experience, it just opens your eyes up to so many things. So like the unconventional opportunity of the tailor-made Tony coming here today, maybe that opportunity leads to Tony using the space or Tony introducing you to his person that he's doing or whatever it is. Yeah. But you don't know. But there's intention behind it.
Or me introducing a client to Tony. You never know where it's going to come in. It's actually, so you went down the rabbit hole of like the connection
monkey.
The connection monkey. Yeah. Yes, the connection monkey. Not the rabbit hole, the monkey hole.
The monkey hole.
And I didn't think it was going to end in like not a negative, but like we wasted all these people just getting the monkey off your back to the next person. You can also follow that to be like a positive thing. So Dan, my business partner in the studio.
Dan, the real estate man.
Yes.
Dan, the
podcast man. Dan,
home buyer man.
Dan, the safety man. He's Dan, the man.
Does Dan know Dominic?
Yes.
Good.
He does. He's had him on his podcast highlighting the journey, which will add to the credits. Dan I met because he was a guest on one of the podcasts that we produce for one of our clients, Joe Villani, who hosts the Knowledgeable Homeowner podcast. And Dan was saying to me the other day, like, I'm so glad that Joe introduced us because
it's changed his life.
We've gone through this journey of like him becoming a client and then us very quickly becoming business partners and building that relationship in such a short period of time. And I said something to him that he didn't know, which is, well, how do you think that Joe met you? And he goes, well, Joe messaged me on Instagram. And I said, who do you think told Joe to message you on Instagram? And he goes, I don't know. It's like, me. I was looking around for guests for Joe's podcast and said, this guy would be awesome. And guess what? I think I would connect really well with this guy. So I made that connection for Dan to be on Joe's podcast. And then Dan saw what we did, said, oh, I love it. We got to work together. And like that was all put into motion because I saw Dan's stuff that he was putting out there. I was like, this guy has got something.
You put the effort in, man. There's no shortcut to the effort, and you saw it. It was
but
tailor-made.
It's funny because he didn't even know that the reason that we came together is because I started it. It wasn't the intention to be like, I'm going to meet this guy and we're going to open a podcast studio together.
Unconventional opportunity. I want to just say this about you and Dan and the people you surround yourself with. Same thing for me. So this is a question I get often. People are like, wow, you do so much networking. And what people don't realize, like, yeah, I do. I'm out a lot. I don't necessarily look at it as networking. I'm out a lot of meetings and collaborating with people. But so many people are always, and this would be a great clip, Brian. So we'll do it at 2 o'clock.
He's got the timestamps in front of him.
22 degrees Celsius still.
Yeah, it's still 22 degrees Celsius in here.
I guess it's like 70 degrees in here. It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It takes a while to warm up, but once it's warm, it's good.
So people are always hunting for new connections. And I can't stand that. I'm not hunting. Like, I want to meet your gems. I want you to say, Adam, I have to introduce you to this person. I'm doing you a disservice if I don't introduce you to Dan. I want you to say that to me. Because you know what? I want to meet the 3 gems that you have in your life. I want to meet Dean. I want to meet Dan. I want to meet Brian. But people are always hunting and searching for new connections. And they don't invest enough in the ones they already have. So you talk about the text messages earlier. This whole conversation has just been to bring back to responding and, I forgot to respond. All those people that you did forget to respond to, all those people that you've met, you've shared coffee with, lunch at Toa, bento box, right? Are you a bento box guy?
I'm a bento box guy.
Yeah. I don't know how I remember that. Chicken and broccoli guy, light sauce, purple rice. I usually do the upgrade for the wonton soup for the $1. Today I did the tofu. The miso soup. I like miso soup. The seaweed was a little too seaweedy for me, though. It's all right.
All right. I hope we'll send this all to them afterwards. Say, watch this whole episode.
Toa, you need to just watch it. An hour and 7 minutes in, you're going to hear about your seaweed, but it's okay. Where I'm going with this, though, is I have a list. When I started my consulting business, Connections for Hire, it's coming up on 6.5 years old. And when I started it up, one of my mentors said to me, he goes, write down a list of 100 of your top connections, and then take that list and make it into 50, and then take that list and make it into 25, and then take that list and make it into 10, then take that list and make it into 5. Call those 5 people and ask them for help because they want to help you. There's a good chance 50 other people on the list want to help you, but those 5 people, they're going to help you. And if you made a list of all the people you have in your life, me, Adam, Tom, Emily, Alex, all the people you met, Dean, and you narrow that list down to whatever it is, what if you reinvested your time meeting those people? What if you reinvested your time asking those people to come on the podcast, which you're probably doing, might be your networking/marketing strategy, but you already have those established relationships. They already know you, they like you, they trust you, they respect you, they know about your daughter, they know about your new studio. And that's my biggest complaint, honestly, in networking, aside from people in commission breath, is that you already probably have all the connections and relationships you need to have a very successful career and to enjoy it. I've been getting together with I have like 6 people that have been like close centers of influence, over the past year. Like we've gotten really close. Michael Strahl, Roxanne, Eric Miller, Steve Greenberg. I'm trying to think. I don't want to leave anyone out. Rusty Vigori, or Ross is great. And I made a comment to Michael the other day, and I'm like, I really want to go away with you guys. I really want to go away. And it wasn't like I just want to go away for business. It's like I've just genuinely enjoyed building this relationship. The fact that we get to carpool together, go out to dinner together, network together, do business together, these are all bonuses to this game of life where time is our most valuable currency, but you genuinely enjoy hanging out with these people. And that would be a tip and a trick, and something that I would say for anyone watching this particular clip is think about the relationships that you already have. Think about the connections you've already genuinely enjoyed. Think about the one-to-ones that you've had that have gone for 3 hours, where you're like, I really have to leave now. And I said that an hour ago. But those people, like, something should come out of it. And I know that sounds terrible, like an expectation or a tit for tat. Something should come out of it eventually. Whether it takes a day, a week, a month. Michael has this great story. There's this guy named Howie Sachs. He's one of our founding members of Nooks and Socials.
I know Howie.
Yeah. Retired police officer, 21 years, NYPD. Retired at 41. He's in his, I think he's young 50s now. And, he owns a franchise called Fiber New, specializing in like vinyl, plastic, leather repair for cars, boats, furniture. And Michael and Howie, I remember the first day they met. And then I see Howie a couple days later, and he goes, hey, that guy Michael, we make, not that we make jokes about Michael, he's vegan and gluten-free, so Howie calls him the vegan. And and Howie's like, yeah, that guy Michael just gave me a referral. He was at the dentist, and, this dentist has a beautiful office, and they had a big rip in one of their leather chairs, and it was a $3,000 job for me. And he goes, all that just because I met Michael. And, like, you should never just build a relationship with someone because you're getting money or business or whatever from them. Like, there should be a genuine interest. Mm-hmm. But, like, think about that. Like,
but if you are investing your time and energy into that relationship in a business setting and in a business way, which is like kind of how we're all getting connected.
It's an expectation.
It's not even the expectation. It's like you want to help people when you can. And if you're actually truly building that relationship and truly trust and love what that person does, you may not need it, but when you go to the dentist and you see the rip in the chair, you're going to think of Howie, because it's like you're helping the dentist because they don't have to buy a new chair now, and you're helping Howie because he's a close connection.
It's a win-win-win. It's good for the patient. It's good for Howie. It's good for the dentist's office. It's good for the patients going into the office.
Yeah.
So, multiple win scenario.
Let me bring it back to...
Bring it back.
Let me bring it back to Nooks and Socials. You talk a lot about this vetting process. What is the vetting process? If there's... And let's start with who is the right fit for this community that you're creating now, and then we'll go into what is the vetting process.
Thank you. So Nooks and Socials is 80% owners and entrepreneurs and 20% operators and key people in a business. I've been part of other communities that have been exclusive to, let's say, only business owners. And, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself there, or cornering yourself there, because I don't know what pigeonholing means. Cornering yourself, maybe we'll say.
Yeah. I don't actually know where it comes from, pigeonholing, but...
It's a real term, though.
It is a real term.
Okay.
Yeah. It means...
put yourself in a corner.
Yeah, boxing yourself in.
Yeah. Maybe putting a bird in a box.
That's where you get pigeonholes from. When you put a pigeon in a box,
you get holes in the box.
They poke through because you pigeoned holes.
Wow, we just
there we go. I don't know, Brian. Look that up. I probably just made that up, but it makes sense to me, so I think it's right. We're gonna run with it.
So, I really want to focus on who people are, not just what they do. For example, Russ recommended this gentleman who's a dentist into Nooks and Socials. And I met with him. So this is the vetting process to go into that. Mm-hmm. So there needs to be genuine interest. You're applying because you're interested. You're not applying just because you want more revenue. Like you want to see what this community is about. So somebody applies. That's the initial screening process. One of the things I love to do, like, I don't know about you, like, people have different opinions on this one. When an application comes in that someone's interested, I call them right away. Not to pitch them or sell them, like, just to show gratitude. Like, hi, is this Steve? Yeah, this is Steve. Who's this? Hi, my name's Adam. I'm the founder of Nooks and Socials. And I just got your application into... Adam, I literally just pressed submit. I was that excited with enthusiasm that I just wanted to call you and say thank you.
There's something about, I don't know, products. I'm sure it's everything, but it's specifically service-based businesses. If you respond to a lead, which is what this person is who's applied, maybe it's not your intention, but if you respond to a lead within 60 seconds, the likelihood of that lead closing that is astronomically higher than if you waited 24 hours to respond to that lead.
I want this. I want to call you as soon, like, unless I'm in a lunch meeting at Toe eating chicken and broccoli with light sauce and purple rice. I want this lead to realize like the level of customer service and care. Like I'm that grateful that you're showing interest in my community.
Mm-hmm.
How did you hear about us? What are you looking for? So you ask what the vetting process is. I look for business owners and professionals that are genuinely themselves who want to be part of a community. You think about what being a part of a community is. We'll go back to the nesting place that you mentioned before with your wife. If your wife had a question about Harper and she puts it out there, she wants the community to respond.
Yeah.
If the community puts something out there and Harper and your wife can help, maybe she experienced it with Harper, she's going to help. That's a community. I live in the Dix Hills, Comac area. I grew up in that area. It's my community. Literally everything I need is pretty much 3 miles from my house, from my Chinese food restaurant, my library, my gym, my Starbucks, my parents' house. And that's my community. Like, I'm on the board of my library. It's my community. I'm on the board of Comac Day. It's my community. Like, that's one of my communities. And I want people that want to be part of the community. We learn together. We grow together. We do business together. We socialize together. We experience things together. I want to find people that want that. And that's part of the vetting process. I don't just look to invite somebody in just because they're another member or they're going to be paying them the membership. I genuinely want that person in my community because they're going to complement my community.
Mm-hmm.
One of my dad's favorite quotes, and we could tally this one because it's the 3rd or 4th time we're saying it. If it doesn't complement your life or your business, it complicates your life or your business. And that's another one of my biggest pet peeves in networking. We're probably up to number 6 here, Brian, is that there's no vetting process. Or if there is a vetting process, it's usually like, oh, that seat's open and you have a credit card, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're like, a bad apple can spoil literally the whole bunch. And I know because I have fruit flies from a bad apple.
Yeah.
The apples got spoiled and we have now more fruit flies, but thankfully they're gone.
Okay.
Didn't lead to mold.
I got the glue trap things that you plug into the wall and the light comes up.
I'm going to tell you, those did not work for me.
Oh, they were great.
No, I got the little fake plastic apples that you put this like sweet liquid in that smells like apple cider vinegar, which is not, because I put apple cider vinegar in one of them, and none of the flies went to that one,
Mm-hmm.
but all the flies went to the other ones, whatever it is.
It's just like sugar water.
Yeah, right. No idea.
Traps
Makes me
them.
think of Men in Black.
So they go into the thing and then they drown.
And they drown.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's sad.
Yes. But wherever we were starting with this, I don't know where we started with this.
The vetting process and also who fits in.
So now we'll make it simple. So someone does an initial application. They have an initial screening call. Hello. You just submitted an application
let's just plug this right here.
3
Where do
seconds
they apply?
ago. They apply at nooksandsocials.com, NOOKSAND, because you can't do an ampersand as
No, you
a
can't.
domain, socials with an S.com. By the way, on my logo, the brand chef and I, if you look at the logo, the 3 circles in the C, it makes a flower. And we tried using that as the end symbol, but it looked a little too, it just didn't look right.
It would be too messy.
But it was, the creativity behind it was brilliant. Like
Mm-hmm.
I literally hugged Asaf when I saw it because I'm like, dude, this is why I asked you to do my logo. Like, this is like, it's so me. But we used, we tried doing ampersands and like no ampersand looked good. And I've always drawn an end symbol, like top down and then like a little loop. So
Okay.
the end in Nooks and Socials, like if you see the logo, is actually like my handwriting, which is kind of cool, I think.
That is very cool.
Connects it to me. But it's challenging because now when we write Nooks and Socials, people can write it with an ampersand. They can write it with the AND. They can, so many different ways to write it. Yes. Going back to the vetting process. Wow, I know, tangents. So initial screening, conversation. Then we go into a one-to-one in person. I'll make some suggestions of locations, whether they like golf or pickleball or the gym or they're a coffee enthusiast or they're a winosaur. And I want to do it in a setting similar to how you put music on for Brandon when he came in here. You want to do it in a setting where they feel comfortable so they can be authentically themselves. I want to see people as authentic as themselves as possible.
Mm.
And then after that vetting process, if I think there needs to be the next stage would be to introduce them to some other fellow members that do have some type of say in the vetting process because they care a lot about the community and who's coming in. You know, like for example, Glenn takes such pride in who our members are. Like Glenn's a great guy. He's going to give someone a chance, but he also cares a lot about our community. So he's not going to just say, you know, hey, this person should go in.
Yeah,
like,
let him in. It's not just going to be like, oh, yeah, sure.
I think a healthy rate of rejection slash acceptance is about 75%. That's what I'm looking for. I would love for it to be higher. Like, that's why I like referrals from our members, because our members,
They know who fits.
they know who fits. Yeah. So as I'm launching Nooks and Socials, I have about 50 to 75 members that, have been following me for, 5 years now, as I've been learning about community and building, this sense of business development and networking done different. And then the other members I have are people that haven't been part of, my vibe or my community, but I'm being very selective with how many people of those I'm inviting in to start with, because the culture means so much to me. Keeping that comfortable vibe. Someone said to me earlier, Leanne, you don't know Leanne. You have to meet Leanne. She owns Social Vibe Marketing. She's one of our founding members. She is one of 80 certified LinkedIn specialists in the entire world.
Wow.
That has her level of LinkedIn. She goes to Africa. She goes to London. She goes all over the world to teach communities about LinkedIn and to help incorporate LinkedIn into their communities. She's stellar. So we had coffee this morning at the Sexy Salad, John Robertson, another shout out. 23 years in business.
Man,
Sexy
the
John.
this episode's going to be an hour and a half, and the credits are going to be 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay.
At the end.
It's good.
It's good.
And Leanne's like, I have to say, Adam, like, every time I sit across from you, you always look so cozy. And I'm like, that's cardigan season. But that's my vibe. Like, that's the vibe that I want to give off. And I think you need to find people that are fitting your vibe. Your level of comfort, your level of drivenness. Adam and Tom, I love Adam and Tom. They are complete type A, go-getter, hardworking, hustlers, no excuses, no bullshit. That's them. And I've had conversations with them before, their vibe. I don't know how we went into from LinkedIn to this to that, but that's their community of people. Like, the people that they're building, the dinners that they have are for people that they want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have people that aren't as motivated in that group like that, because it could potentially drag the rest of them down. Can't always pull somebody up.
It's interesting. From experiencing those dinners with them that we do all quarterly, I actually think that what ends up happening in that room of, we'll call them winners, right? Those very high octane people, I'm not going to name names, but we've had people at those dinners that make tens of millions of dollars a year, personally, and not just for their business, but personally. And
what does that mean, personally?
It's not revenue. That's their take home.
They're making real money.
Yeah. I can have $1 million business,
but then
my take home is 100 or 200,
yeah.
At the end of the day. So, these people are actually blowing the doors off of what we're doing here in small businesses, and they're driven, and they're just almost psychotic, in not psychotic, but they are obsessed with that thing, and that's all they want to do. And we've had people like that who are just obsessed and absolute killers in the business world sit at that table and go, man, I just want some friends who get it.
Get it.
Yeah. And those people in that environment can break down their defenses and be open and vulnerable. And I don't know where I'm going with it, but it's when you put them in the right setting, I think everyone has the same problems at the end of the day that they need help with. And even if you present as that A-type go-getter, hustler, hard worker,
you're still working.
You're still going to have that same conversation with your trusted people at the end of the day. I like to have those conversations with all different types of people.
Yeah. Can't believe you're 31.
Why? Because I was 28.
Yeah, I met you when you were 24.
Yeah, probably younger than that.
Might have been younger than that.
I was probably 20.
I met you
I
met you the beginning, middle of 2019.
That makes sense.
Maybe
timeline wise. Yeah, because we hosted the music festival in September of 2019, and Dean did our website, who we met through you. So that must have been early 2019.
Yeah. Wow. And that's another thing, like, going back to the thing earlier about like building new relationships. It's like you get to a point where you have enough relationships. You just get to know, like, and like, you and I, let's say we have 7 years of history together. Like, you can't replace that.
Yeah.
And like, and we've seen each other through ups and downs. We've seen each other through startup and growth. We've seen each other through, I remember the Nook that we were sitting in, that you wanted 10 A+ clients.
Mm-hmm.
And that was your goal. And I believe you're doing that.
I've hit that goal.
You've hit that goal. Now you're up to 20 probably. Yeah. But, going back to the thing we said in the beginning when they first did the action, it starts as a journey. And then the people we meet along the way, it becomes an adventure. And then, those people, they become part of your quest. And that quest has a mission. And the mission is to whatever it is. And you become part of each other's missions and journeys and quests and adventures.
I like the way it just sounds fun, the way that you talk about it.
That's good.
And that's something that I personally struggle with at times is you get caught up in the like day-to-day driving of the business and growing of the business and you forget to have fun. I actually 2 days ago came into the office not expecting anyone to be here or come here. We had our first ever person reach out to us directly that didn't come from a referral and just clicked a link, signed up for studio time to come see it for the first time. And so I came in ready to curate the experience, get the music on. I did a little bit of digging on their social profiles to see who they were and what they liked. I found out the guy was a Mets fan. I was like, great, this guy's going to fit awesome with us. And he walked in the door, and then 2 minutes later, Caesar from our team walked in the door, and I wasn't expecting him to be here. And then 5 minutes after that, Eric walked in the door, and I wasn't expecting him to be here. And they all just came in because they want to be here to work. They wanted to be here. Normally, our team works remote on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a Thursday right now. You saw some people coming in the middle of this that are working. The team is here. They like to be around the environment.
Speaks to the culture,
and
man.
I walked out there, and Anthony, who came into the studio to come check it out, left, and then I had another person coming in, I forget where I was going with this. I walked out there after Anthony left, and I was getting prepared, and I just turned to them, and I went, guys, this is cool. I'm having fun. And they were like, what?
This is
like,
fun
guys,
to you.
there's people coming in, there's music playing, the studio's all set
alive.
up. Like, I'm enjoying this. Yeah. And sometimes we forget to sit down and have fun while we do it.
Let's end this podcast on a lesson. Another name drop here. Stephanie Marino. Stephanie has been a business friend of mine for about probably 6-7 years, maybe even 8. And she said this great lesson one day in the middle of one of our nooks. She said, "We spend so much time being kind to others that we forget to be kind to ourselves." So let that sink in for a second. We spend so much time being kind to others that we forget to be kind to ourselves. And, I've been working my butt off literally the past 50 days, building a brand new brand, getting it ready for launch, recruitment, operations, systems, technology, event planning, marketing, logo, insurance, legal. Like, it's a lot in less than 2 months. And, I was sitting there at lunch today with Tony, and I felt calm. I felt kind of collected. And like, I had like this little moment of kindness to myself that I said to myself, I'm like, yeah, Adam, like, you should be really proud of yourself. And like, it's tough to do that. And I would advise you to have that moment of silence for yourself to say, you know what, Steve, I should be really proud of myself, because that your style of fun, you curated that, you've built that. And it's only gonna snowball from here. This is your first podcast studio. You don't know. You're gonna have to get one on the South Shore for Dan.
Oh, absolutely. The only reason we're here is the space is a unicorn.
It is a unicorn.
I know he's coming from Massapequa all the time up here. We were looking at places in the middle, and I was like, Dan, I gotta find. I found this place, and I think we gotta look at it. Sorry, but it's in Huntington.
And you don't turn back. You just look at it.
Yeah.
Something I've been saying to people recently is, I ripped off the rear view mirror and I threw it out the window. It's just much more space to look forward to.
I really love that one. Let's close it out with, again, I know you've mentioned it several times throughout the show, but where can people find you, and how can they get in touch and I guess fill out an application if they're interested in being part of
Sure. So the first thing I'd say is people should be following your social media so they can see all the great stuff that you're putting out there and the people you're interviewing, like Dominic, the right guy for your fun guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, but people should definitely give this a like. All the different platforms it's on, all the 12 things we mentioned earlier, right? People can find me, just Google Adam Holtzer, ADAMHOLTZER. Google me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are looking to be part of a relationship-driven business community that's vetted and intentional around personal, professional, and social growth, and that community vibe, then they can search nooksandSocials.com. They could also, they could also, reach out to your podcast and be like, hey, I really enjoyed this episode that this guy Adam was on. How do I get in touch with him?
Yeah, if anyone that I know directly wants to truly be involved in this, as I believe most of my good connections out there should, reach out to me. I would love to make a connection.
Thank you. And I'm excited. I want to meet the guy Stefan, the startup, see how I can give him some TLC. That was something I always felt like business owners needed. They just needed a hug. They just needed that TLC because not a lot of people get it.
Yeah, it's tough. I appreciate you getting it. I appreciate you being here and giving all this great wisdom and information out to anyone who's watching. Hopefully this helped a lot of people.
I hope that your group of nesting place people all write a review for the nesting place for how much of an impact that those people have made on the husbands, the wives, the kids. I really hope that they know how much you appreciate what you've done for them, not just as being new parents, but helping you build a community that kind of you didn't have 12 months ago.
Anyone who we know that's expecting a child, the first thing that we do is tell them, look into these resources earlier. Because, it was phenomenal for us as a family and has been phenomenal for my wife individually. That's all you can do is hopefully return the support back their way. Awesome, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Bella Vita.
This was fun. This was a fun one. I